What's a Peloton anyway? Now, you may be thinking that we're talking about this device that's probably sitting in the corner of your room collecting dust, but that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is what you see in a professional cycling race, like the Tour de France. The Peloton is the main group or field of cyclists in the race. That's where all the action happens, and that's where most of the riders are for most of the race. I got into cycling very early. When I joined high school, I joined the cross-country team. And my freshman year was great, but my sophomore year there was a problem. The coach sent out a note that said we had to be at practice at 5:30 in the morning, before school, as well as after school. So I went up to my dad and said, "Hey, Dad, I got to be at practice at 5:30. Good luck with that. So then I went to my mom. No, not happening. So we went to Kmart, yes, Kmart, and bought a $59 10-speed bike, and I started biking to school. Biking to school each way, 5 miles each way, and that started my love of this sport. What I want to do today is share with you some of the leadership lessons I've learned from cycling that I think you can apply to most other areas of leadership. The first one is about focus. One day on my racing team, I went up to my coach. My coach was Dave. He's this California surfer dude, you know, like, yo, dude, what's up? And I'm like, hey, Dave, man, what's the plan for the race today? He's like, all right, Matt, this is your big chance. He goes, what I need you to do, you're going to be the lead-out man today, all right? I'm like, cool, cool. Now, I knew what that was, but he had to explain it to me anyway. He goes, all right, so with about 1 kilometer to go, I need you right in the middle. I'm going to be right behind you, and everyone else will be behind us. He said, now what we're going to do is we're going to go, I need you to go as fast as you can, and at about 400 meters to go, pull off, so I can go out and try to win the race. I'm like, all right, Dave, I got it. So we take off, run our race. We're going in. We come around the last stretch. We're 1 kilometer to go, and I'm in perfect position. I am right in front, right in the middle, and Dave is less than an inch behind my back wheel, exactly where he needs to be. 700 meters to go, we're in good shape. 500 meters to go, we're in good shape. And then, out of the corner of my eye, I see the most beautiful, gorgeous woman I have ever seen in my life. And I looked. And I took me, my team, and 30 other riders out. So after we picked ourselves up, got back to our team van, Dave was looking for me. And I was trying to hide from him. But he finally found me. He's like, yo, dude, what the happened? And I'm like, I don't know. He goes, dude, you know what happened. You got distracted. And I was like, yeah, I got distracted. He goes, I just got one question for you. Was she worth it? What a great question. See, my momentary distraction that took me and my team out of action was because of something I saw out of the corner of my eye for a split second, and I lost focus. I don't know her name. I've never seen her again. But I cost us an opportunity because I got distracted. And I think leadership's like that. As a leader, we have to stay focused on our mission, the mission of the organization that we're leading. There are so many opportunities out there to get distracted. Just think about it. You've got good ideas. Well, good ideas don't necessarily need to be acted on, especially in times of trouble. We need great ideas to move us forward. There are conflicts. There are new things that you can try, but if you forget who you are, you forget why you exist, then you're taking your team out of action. So remember that as a leader. Distraction is out of action. The second lesson I want to share with you, this one comes from the Tour de France specifically, or any major bike race. Now, I was never good enough to reach that level, but July is like 21 days of the Super Bowl for me. I have the Tour de France on every day, every session I can have it on, repeating it over and over again because I just love the interplay in the race. So this is a picture of Team Sky. Team Sky for several years was the dominant team in cycling. They won multiple Tour de France's in a row. They won every major stage race out there. And this gentleman in the yellow jersey that you see towards the back of this line is Chris Froome. Chris has won 4 Tour de France's. The record is 5. So he's among the best cyclists ever. But where is he in his team right now? Is he in front? Is he in the middle? He's at the back. Now, you may have heard in a management class that the job of a manager or a leader is to remove obstacles from the people on your team. And there's a certain amount of truth to that. But in cycling, it works completely differently. In cycling, the job of the team is to protect the leader. See, what they're doing by being out in front is, number one, they're breaking the wind. Wind is the biggest force that a cyclist has to overcome. It's bigger than the friction, it's bigger than their weight, it's the amount of wind that they have in their face on a regular basis. And a cyclist can save up to 30% of their energy by cycling right behind somebody else. So they save a lot of wind. The other thing they do is they're protecting him from crashes by being up front. There's less opportunities for somebody to crash in front of them. And if they do have a problem, they've got more people behind them, so they've got more time to fix the problem and less time to have to catch up. And the third thing they're doing is they're controlling the race. They're setting a very high pace, which discourages other teams from trying to pass them and ruin their plan for the day. Now, does that mean Chris just sits there until the last little bit? No. Chris has a very important function. His job is to protect the mission of the team for the day. Now, his mission is to win the overall Tour de France. He cares less about individual stage wins. He needs to win the lowest elapsed time overall. And so what he's doing is he's watching what's going on. And he's telling the team, pick up the pace, slow down. We've got a problem here. That guy who just passed us, don't worry about him. He's 35 minutes down on time. He's never going to catch us. That guy, we got to go catch him. He's protecting the mission to make sure that he is still in a position to win. So in a cycling team, the team protects the leader, and the leader protects the mission. What does that look like outside of cycling? One way to describe it is I remember an incident when my son was, I believe he was in 4th grade, where a bully took his head and slammed it into a metal pole. Then he had a concussion, but he was okay. Now, his younger sister was out for revenge. She wanted to get that bully. She's like, I'm going to get him. And for weeks, the school would say, hey, they'd talk to the bully, go, hey, I heard Aaron was looking for you. And he would run away because he was scared of this little 2nd grader. And I asked Aaron later, I was like, Aaron, but hold on. You know, you are terrible to your brother. You are so mean to your brother. She goes, I can mess with him, but nobody else can. If you've got siblings, you may feel the same. The reality is that a team needs to have their leaders back, especially in public. It disheartens me when I see a member of a team tear down the team leader in public. That's a conversation that needs to be had in private. Look, our leaders aren't perfect. They make mistakes. They need new ideas. They need fresh perspectives. But they need to hear those in private so that in public they can be seen as leader. And if there's a need to make a change in the leadership, you do that. But until that change is made, you support them in public. You also support them from unfair criticism. The way I like to say it is evaluate them in the same spirit that you would want someone to evaluate you. To say, here's what you're doing well. Here's some things I'd like to see you improve, rather than making it personal and going after the individual. Focus on the behavior. So that's the second lesson that I want to share with you. And consider how this might work in whatever area of leadership you're experiencing. if the team protects the leader and the leader stays focused, as we talked about earlier, and protects the mission to make sure that the mission occurs, then I think that's an effective team. And you can see that every year in July. Join me. We'll watch the Tour de France this year in a few weeks. The last lesson that I think I really want to share to you is the importance of values. Values matter. Values matter a lot. Some of you may recognize this individual. If you don't, you may recognize the name Lance Armstrong. Now, Lance has an amazing story. He went out and won the World Championship, which is typically a sprinter's race. And then he was diagnosed with cancer, stage 4 cancer, given months to live. But he fought back hard, and he came back, and he became the second American to win the Tour de France. And again, he ended up winning the Tour de France 7 straight years. Considered either the greatest cyclist in history or the greatest fraud. Because there were rumors out there that he was using performance-enhancing drugs to gain an advantage over his rivals. But every time he was accused, 2 things would happen. The first is he would get up in front of everybody and say, I've been tested more than any athlete in the history of the sport, and I've never failed a test. And the second thing he would do is he would, at least it appeared, that he would make it his mission to destroy the lives of those who'd accused him. And that included massage therapists, journalists, and even teammates. Now, eventually, the evidence was overwhelming. There was too much information out there, and so Lance decided to go on a television special with who else? Who do you tell your deepest, darkest secrets to in front of a national audience but Oprah Winfrey? And Oprah got him to admit on television in front of everybody that not only had he used performance-enhancing drugs, he had used them to such a level with such a degree of sophistication that the cycling world had never seen, and perhaps the sport world had never seen before or since. The problem for me was every time he said he'd been tested more than any other sport, never failed a test, every time he denied the allegations, I believed him. I wanted to believe him. I needed to believe him because he was a source of inspiration for me. If someone would come up to me and say, Matt, are you working hard? I go, yeah, I'm working not as hard as he is. Matt, are you committed and doing everything you can to be as successful as you deserve to be? I'd be like, yes, not as much as he is. And I used him as a source of motivation and inspiration for me to accomplish things. And I began to doubt what I'd accomplished. Because if the source of the inspiration, the source of the motivation was a lie, was the accomplishment a lie? Now, fortunately, some good friends of mine helped me through that, and I realized that my accomplishments stood on my own. What I had done stood on its own. But this nearly destroyed my love of a sport. It destroyed my ability to believe in heroes for a while. Has a hero ever let you down? It's tough. It's tough. See, winning isn't everything. If you have to cheat to win, you didn't win. Values are. Values are what matter. So in your teams as a leader, do you have a set of shared values? Many companies have shared values. Many organizations have shared values. And it's not to say that those are the best values. It's not to say that those values are better than anybody else's values. It's to say that these are the values that we agree upon. In the United States, those values are in the Declaration of Independence. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. Those are what we have agreed to as a society, are the values, among many others, that we do. And if you really want to understand culture's values, look at their folklore, look at their tall tales, look at their mythology, because those values, George Washington, I didn't tell a lie. It's a complete fabrication. But it made the story of the importance of being honest, even if it was painful for you. The lone, rugged cowboy, John Wayne, every John Wayne movie made. I love John Wayne, but let's be honest, he played the same character in every single movie he was in. He was that lone, rugged cowboy against the world. And Americans value someone who will stand up in the face of something they see as wrong, even if they're the only one who will do so. Keep your values in check. Now, there are many more lessons from the Peloton I could share. However, I think these are three of the most significant. You need to keep your focus. You need to understand the role of the team and the leader and how it operates in your organization. And having the leader protect the mission and the team protect the leader is one good way that I'd like you to consider. But most importantly, if you forget everything else I'm talking about today, I want you to remember the importance of having a set of shared values, because it's the only way to lead the Peloton.